Hello and welcome to Real Watchers Movie Club. My name is Garrett.
And I'm Kevin.
And we are your hosts. Movie Club is a show where we pick a movie every week and discuss it, just like a book club. On today's show, we are covering the animated classic, Aladdin. Our thoughts and more coming up on Movie Club. Released in 1992, Aladdin was directed by Ron Clements and John Musker and stars Scott Weinger, Robin Williams, and Linda Larkin. A kind-hearted street urchin and a power-hungry Grand Vizier vie for a magic lamp that has the power to make their deepest wishes come true. The film currently has a 3.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd. The film was nominated for 3 Academy Awards for Best Sound, Best Sound Effects Editing, and Best Original Song for Friend Like Me. It won 2 Academy Awards for Best Original Song for A Whole New World and Best Original Score. Before we dive into our thoughts on Aladdin, we do want to issue a spoiler warning. If you're one of the few people on this planet that has not seen this movie, go ahead and watch it and then come on back. It's available to stream on Disney Plus, as all Disney movies are. But stay tuned to the end of the show to find out what movie we're covering next week, because it's quite a tonal shift after this one. Alrighty, it's also worth it to mention, Kevin, that this movie is not on the IMDb or Letterboxd top 250s.
Yes.
I think it was on IMDb's.
Dropped out, right?
Yes, it was on IMDb's, but it fell off after we had already scheduled this to come out. So, unfortunately, it's no longer on the top 250s, but that's okay because
you should still watch it.
You should still watch it. The scores change the standings change all the time, so it's nothing really too crazy. But let's dive into this, though, Kevin. I believe Aladdin. Aladdin was your pick. So what made you pick it?
I wanted to see. I remember watching this way too much as a kid, I feel like. And I wanted to see if it was that good of a movie or it was just because it was not the only movie that I enjoyed, but it was one of the movies I only enjoyed. So to see how it holds up today, especially because it's very not weird to see an IMDb top 250 Disney movie on here, but one that I have seen so many times on that list.
It's interesting because I feel like there are Disney movies that are more deserving to be on the top 250 than this one, but I understand why this one is on the top 250. But yeah, so obviously, I'm not going to, do the standard movie club spiel of, have you heard of this movie before? Because it's a Disney one. But obviously, we've both seen this movie. Do you remember, like, the first time you saw this movie? Like, about how old you were or anything?
I no idea. I just remember watching it and enjoying it. And I think I grew to like it a little bit more when I got older, like maybe when I was like 10 or 12, just because I could understand it a lot more. Like when you're younger, you don't really understand movies as you watch them. So watching them when I'm older, I enjoyed it a lot more, and I could see how Jafar is that he's a bad guy, but he's kind of like, I was kind of like vibing with him, if that makes sense.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes the Disney villains are not just truly bad. They have some decent ideas. I mean, obviously he goes off the rails towards the end of this movie. But,
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I remember watching this movie as a kid. I mean, we had all the white clamshell Disney VHSs, and this was one of them. We watched this one quite a few times, just because it was, my parents loved Robin Williams, and so that was obviously a big part of this movie. And me and my brother enjoyed it when we were younger. I recently went back and actually reviewed this movie when I did the Disney tier list a couple years back now. I've always enjoyed this movie. But I do have a couple little issues here and there.
I have a couple as well, so we'll get into those.
But let's go ahead and dive on in. I feel like one of the biggest things to talk about with this movie is the music.
I feel it's underrated as a Disney movie with music, because you get to hear your Frozens, you get to hear your Cocos. Well, that's not Disney, but a part of Disney.
Well, part of Disney, yeah.
Yeah, You get to hear your Cocos, and like some older ones like Snow White is very present and stuff like that. But you don't hear like this. I forget the name. It's the street rat one where we first meet Aladdin. That's a banger of a song. First of all, like really good. And then Whole New World. I mean, you can't go wrong. That one's probably the most popular one, I feel like. Or
Oh yeah.
Never Had a Friend Like Me. Is another really good one, but it was consistently good. There's not a bad song in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't feel like.
You know what's kind of funny is that you said that this is like one of the more underrated
Hmm.
ones, and I would actually say it's one of the more overrated.
Really?
I don't think it's the most overrated Disney movie. There is one movie that fits that bill. I don't know if we'll ever get to it, but I think that
Say it.
Hercules
Oh.
is the most overrated
Oh.
Disney movie. I
Really?
cannot stand that movie. Personally, it's a personal opinion. But I think this one, like, I think a lot of people prop this one up on such a high pedestal, and I think that mostly comes from not John Williams, Robin Williams, very different Williams. But I think it's mostly because of Robin Williams. And I think this movie got a lot more positive attention after he passed on because it was one of his most iconic characters.
Yes.
And,
yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I look at some of the other movies at the time, like Lion King is better than this movie. You know, Beauty and the Beast is better than this movie. Little Mermaid, I would actually say this is probably a little better.
Okay, but the thing is, the ones that you just said, a lot of people gravitate towards more than Aladdin.
Mhm.
Have you ever noticed that? It's like they'll be like, "Oh, let's watch The Lion King," or "Have you kid watched The Lion King yet?" It's not like you go up to a kid and you're like, "Have you watched Aladdin yet?" And they're like, "What the hell
I
is that?"
feel like maybe it's my social circles because my social circles are like, let's watch Hercules, let's watch Emperor's New Groove, let's like all these odd choices.
Emperor's New Groove is a banger on that though. That's ooh. No, it's not just fine. Opinions are opinions, but you're wrong on your opinion. So
yeah, I'm right. No, but I'm joking. But yeah, like back to Aladdin. No, I think like it's overrated in the fact that a lot of people prop it on a pedestal. For me, I'm not saying that it's bad. And when I say overrated, that doesn't mean bad. That just means overly talked about.
It's like there's hidden gems in Disney, but they get overshadowed by like the big Toy Story, Aladdin, Lion King, stuff like that. And and Aladdin, I feel like, is at the bottom of those tops, though. That's what I feel like.
It's still in the top though, and I think that's what I'm saying. And I think we're kind of on the same page, but on two different sides, to the bottom and the top of the page.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, yeah, I think so I do want to get some critiques out of the way. I think because everyone
mine
knows
might be big. Do you want me to go first?
Sure, I want to hear it.
Robin Williams is annoying in this movie. I feel
that is a bold statement.
I maybe because I've watched it so many times and everything, but like watching re-listening to this and rewatching this, like his character work is fantastic. Like, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It's all I can see is Robin Williams as a genie and not the genie, and maybe that's where the disconnection is.
I can see that, and I think that my critique is tied into yours, but it's not due to Robin's performance or Robin Williams. My biggest problem with this movie is the tone.
Okay.
And I do think that humor and like lightheartedness, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I think like you establish in this movie that it takes place in some area of the Middle East. I don't know exactly where it's supposed to be, Saudi Arabia or something like that. And it's taking place of its time, right? Like no characters are walking around making a reference to an existing Disney property or like a celebrity or anything until Genie gets there. And then it has a tonal problem in that it's just showing off all these things that Aladdin should have no idea what those things are. And why would the genie know these things if it's that those things haven't happened yet? Granted, he's a magical being, a cosmic being, maybe time is a construct, whatever, but it's weird. Like when he's out there doing like his Peter Lorre impression or like Rodney Dangerfield, and you're just like, really? Like this doesn't
why does why does Aladdin like kind of like agree with him and like doesn't bat an
I
eye
mean,
to
to
be
be
like,
fair though, sometimes when you come across a crazy person, you're like, yeah, okay,
yeah,
sure.
that's true. But it's like in my headspace, I'm like, why? Like I would be like, who's that? Who are you talking about? Like maybe make I don't want to say make Aladdin dumb, but make it him aware of the genie is so much superior to him, and he's like he again the cosmic being kind of situation, but it's like and then the genie goes, oh, you're right, we haven't gotten there yet, or something like that, and then that could have maybe played it off a little bit more. But yeah, the
Sure.
pop culture references are just didn't hit for me. If it was like a Cleopatra or I don't know, like Alexander the Great or something like that would have been cool. But I don't even know if that's even in the same century as them. So it's because it's hard to
True.
pinpoint.
Yeah, I think that's where it's a little bit. It's also the big reason why I don't like Hercules, because Hercules goes
Hmm.
for that whole Las Vegas like gospel aesthetic in an ancient Greek movie, which just does not make sense to me.
Okay.
Which I've always hated the movie for that. But it's not as bad here because it's one character. The
Hmm.
world itself still follows its rules, except that one character. And I know you can make the excuse. Yes, it's because he's a genie. Yes, it's because he has magical powers. Maybe he's because he experiences all time in one instant, or whatever. Sure, right? But then if he knows the future, why doesn't he know he's going to be set free?
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't. It's I don't want to say it's Robin Williams because it's not him. He's fantastic in the role when he's funny and when he's being emotional. He's great. He's a fantastic performer.
And when he sings as well, he's a
100%.
perfect singer in this,
Yeah.
especially for his role.
But I do think it's just that flip flopping of adhering to the world and the time period and then not is kind of what's weird.
But I think they would have lost a lot of kids if they didn't do that. I feel like.
Sure, but like the kid, like a 10-year-old is not getting the reference to Peter Lorre
Yeah, but the
or Rodney
adults are.
Dangerfield. Yeah,
But
the
the
adults
adults
are,
are.
yes. But like when saying that you're going to lose the kids by not having that there doesn't make sense.
Okay.
I
Okay.
guess. But I do have another criticism. I will say, Jasmine is a great Disney princess.
She has no lines in this movie.
She has barely any lines, but I think that her wanting to not be a princess and not get married is this kind of great anti-patriarchy kind of princess character, which I do love. I think Aladdin is a boring, stiff, cardboard box of a character.
Okay.
Now, granted, he's supposed to be super flat so that you can project yourself onto him, and it's a little bit of like, I could do that one day,
But
But-
you really can't.
But you can't because, I guess it's like trying to stick it to a board with a dart, and it's so flat that it'll just go right through or whatever. But his singing voice is great. I don't know if it's the same singing voice as it is the actual actor.
No, Brad Kane is, I think, the singing voice.
Gotcha. Yeah, Scott Weinger is the voice of Aladdin, which all he's really done is Aladdin. So, and one slasher horror movie. So,
What
and
was
a
that?
Police Academy 5.
Let's see.
It's a movie called Shredder from 2001. Hasn't really done anything.
He's in Fuller House. That's where I know him from. There we go.
Oh, well, Letterboxd doesn't show.
Well, I'm on Google. That's why. Sorry.
That's fair. But yeah, like I think there's not a lot going on with that character, unfortunately. I think that
it's because of his performance or the dialogue that they give him,
I think
or
it's
because
both. I mean, like the
both.
dialogue's not bad. The dialogue is not bad. I will say that. I do think it's more from the performance angle because I think that this is a budget issue in the fact that they spent too much money on Robin Williams and they couldn't get someone bigger to do his role.
But I like how Robin Williams is not. I don't want to say the main actor in this movie or main character in this movie. He's kind of like the side character that once you need a comic relief, he is there for. And I think him being the genie instead of Aladdin, I think actually helps this movie.
Sure, and I'm not saying that he would have been good as Aladdin.
No,
But I'm saying, like, I think back to the 90s, right? And I'm thinking of a handful of actors who were bigger at the time that may have been better choices for a
John
lead
Stamos.
role. Sure. Like
That's the only one that popped in my head, to be
John
perfectly.
Stamos or Corey Feldman. I believe Corey Feldman is his name. I don't want to get that wrong. The kid from Goonies. Yeah, Corey Feldman. Like, there are other actors. I don't know why they went with Scott Weinger. I think that his performance is just flat and dry, unfortunately, and just doesn't really do anything for the character. Sure, there's some comedic timing, but like, it's not live action. The animators and the directors can make that happen when they need it to. So it's not him so much. So I don't know. It like, those are probably my biggest complaints here. I think Jafar is a great villain, like you mentioned earlier.
Great villain. Very
great design.
Oh, so good.
The snake staff is great.
Even is it? I forget how to say the parrot's name. Iago. So good as like a stupid. Yeah. Yeah. And but he is a villain in this movie, but he looks like a villain in this movie. Like, some of the newer Disney movies and Pixar movies the villains don't look like villains, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and he definitely looks like a villain here, and I think that he kind of embodies that air really well, which is what's really kind of nice about that. And again, Iago, Gilbert Gottfried. I mean, come on, rest in peace, Gilbert Gottfried. One of the best voices. It's sometimes it can be annoying, but
no, it gets stuck in my head, I feel like, a lot of the time, because there's someone else that sounds similar to him, but I forget his name as well. I don't know what other person he plays, but I'll have to think about it. But I mean, even the animation in this movie, I'll go on to another positive, is the animation. I mean, you can't go wrong with 2000 or 90s Disney animation. I feel like it's fantastic, but I like how dark it is as well in this movie, with like when he gets the lamp and he's in Jafar, the mouth of the lion and everything like that. Like, that whole sand sequence was so cool to see as the first time watch. Even the second, or when I watched it now, it was still really good and very intriguing to see why they did it that way.
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing, compared to something like Little Mermaid, or, I mean, Lion King has its dark moments. Beauty and the Beast has a couple of like scary moments, I guess you could say, like the forest and the wolves and such. But this does have some darkness to it. Yeah, right? Like, kick the guy in the beginning into the tomb, and he's never seen again.
Yeah.
Why not? And Aladdin gets trapped down there until at least, Genie helps him out. But it's got some darkness to it. I will say that there are some questionable cultural depictions in this movie. I don't know how accurate this is to Middle Eastern culture or or anything. But I mean, like, it is a cartoon, obviously, and I wouldn't say that in any way it's outright offensive or anything. I just think, like,
it wouldn't fly today. You look
doesn't
back
age terribly, but it doesn't age well either. Like, it's somewhere in the middle. It's just kind of like, okay, it's there.
You're like, ooh, I see that.
At least the live action movie cast people who weren't white, but like, obviously you hire who you can when you're in the industry at that point in time. It's a little bit different today. But yeah, like, I do enjoy this movie. I think it's got great pacing. I think it's a perfect length. I think that like we said, the music is fantastic. The performances, for the most part, are good. I do think that Aladdin's performance is a little weak, but like, overall, like, it is a really fun movie, and I do think that at the end of the day, it is a good message for younger audiences. Like, you don't, like, he starts out as like a street urchin, right? He's not doing crime, but he is living day to day, but doing the right thing is always what's going to carry you through, and doing the right thing is going to reward you. I think is kind of what I get away from this. And like, it's selflessness versus selfishness.
Yeah.
Right? Because obviously Jafar is very selfish. He's been overlooked for power. He's not the Sultan. He doesn't have what he wants. Granted, Aladdin doesn't have what he wants either, but he uses his wishes, I guess, in a selfish way to get out of the tomb, to try and win the heart of Jasmine, but in the end uses his final wish for the most selfless thing that he can do, which is to free the genie.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
and also be who you are, because Jasmine started showing interest in him when he was himself, and then lost interest when he was putting on a show.
Yeah, exactly.
So Kevin's pick was Aladdin. So Kevin, what is your final thoughts and score for Aladdin?
My final thoughts on score are, like we said in this whole little episode, is the movie is fantastic, greatly animated. Robin Williams is a good character, sometimes get annoying in my opinion, but that's my opinion, don't worry. And then but the length is good, the villain is fantastic, this message and story behind it is good as well. I gave this movie an 80 out of 100 just because I thought it was better when I was younger, but looking at it now, it's just a middle of the run Disney movie for me.
Was that an 80 or an 88?
86.
Well, 86. Okay,
Yeah.
Maybe there's a lag in the recording, and I didn't
sorry.
hear the second part. But so for me, I mean, you've already heard it over the course of this video. I think that it does have some issues in some tonal inconsistency, and then also its lead character is not really the best in my opinion. But I think this is still a really fun movie with a great message and fantastic music. And yeah. So I ended up giving Aladdin an 80 out of 100, which is 4 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. Still a great Disney movie, just not one of the tippy top of the line ones.
I agree with you, because especially with some of the newer ones that have come out, it's definitely dropped down out of like my top 5 or maybe even top 10 at this point.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first. You heard it here first, folks. But the question now falls to you. What do you think of Aladdin? Go ahead and leave your comments down in the comments section down below. Maybe you thought the remake was better. Who knows? I would love to hear that argument as to why.
Yeah.
But you can go ahead and leave that down in the comments section down below. But remember to be respectful of one another, because, just do it. Being nice is not hard. Next week, we're going to be taking a look at the adventure thriller film Sorcerer, which we're very excited to talk about. So make sure you check it out before next week so you aren't spoiled. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, our live stream goes live every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Talk about movie news, reviews, and so much more. And this show goes live every single Friday at 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So thank you so much for watching. And until next time, make sure to keep those eyes on the screen.